This is Irontrader. It is the last call of the day. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the oil indexes, which are all red right now. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation advice on the stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Now, look at old Sticky up here. Well, we got as high as 122,955. We couldn't quite hit that 123,615, but really good trading in the BITX. I took a big portion of that off here, of my trading position anyway, this morning here before even the market opened up. Very, very nice trade. So I got as high as 65.42 here in regular hours. It was a little bit higher than that overnight. Now, again, what we're really watching here, let's see, where are we sitting at right now? You're sitting at 120.90 level. So we're sitting right about this, right against this resistance, this support level, 119,785. See how nice that is? Okay. Now, again, if we can get, say we go higher, then we're looking at that 124.15 level. We'll come up here to this 121,255 level, and then we're going to come around, obviously retest today's high, 122,955, and then we have your big retest and breakout at 123,615. We crack that, we go to this inverse head and shoulders pattern. When that plays out, we just do the old flip ski on that, and you're looking at about 125.5. And with the numbers like this, you could crank right up here, 130, 135. It all depends on how parabolic it wants to go. But always, always watch these topping tail situations, okay? That's never good. Okay, now, on the downside here, we left this gap. So you want to watch today's low, 119,100, and we want to watch the top of that, 118,405. So gap, fill, and then we have your 21-day sitting at 117,837. Now, right below that, we have this 8-day, you're sitting at 116,517, and then we can come right down to the bottom of this candle here at 114,685 level. We'll come down to the bottom there, 114,300. We have 113,860, and we come there, 113,440, and then we have this retest at that 113.45 level. See right there, and then we're right below that. We have 111,914. Now, got to respect the 21-day and 8-day. Right now, the price is holding up, even though we have a nice big topping tail candle. But to say, just watch it, see how we had it, and then we had that on the old weekly. So let's just be very, very cautious going on. Now, you're sitting at RSI at 60. That has plenty of room to go to the upside. The green wants to curl over the red. So what we're really watching, we're trading against, is today's candle. We're looking at that high, 122,955, and that low, 119,100 when those futures open back up at 6 p.m. Now, weekly chart, as long as we're holding this 8-day, we're looking very, very nice, 115,538. Now, you can see how nice it held, even though it came down for the week. You notice that it closed back up. And look at here, how nice it's been holding the whole time. So this is going to be very, very crucial on a closing basis. 115,538. We lose that, you go on to 112,345. We lose that. You got a 110, 150. We lose that. We're going to come on top of this candle at 108,960. And then we come down to your 21-day at 104,352 level. Now, RSI here looking still very, very strong. The green over your red. Very, very nice chart. Bottom left, upper right. Just a beaut, Clark, all the way and up. Very, very nice. Now, you can see here we have some consolidation. Obviously, we have it. But again, I don't like these topping tail situation because all I got to do is look in the past and see what happens. Okay, so we came close, but we never got right up to that top of that resistant level. So what we want to do here, I say, is just have to be very, very cautious. We're trading against today's candle. Watch that gap and that fill. 21-day, 8-day on the downside. The upside, what we want to watch is this 121,255 level now. And then obviously today's high, 122,955. And then your breakout, 123,615. So just trade this until we can close above that 123,615 level. Then you can go balls out until we hit that 125.5. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold, here we have silver. Now, our T-Man came out there and he announced there today that there's not going to be no tariffs on gold or silver or anything. So, you know, as I say, he just came right on out here. It's all live 27 minutes ago that Trump says gold will not be tariffed the end. Okay, now we have this topping tail again. Watch those topping tails because all you have to do is look to the past. What do we have here? Topping tail. So always, always watch those. When you see it, it's never a good situation, especially if it's a red candle. Now, you can see where we came down. We lost that 8-day, but we're holding that 21-day, okay? So what we're really watching is at 33.86. The next level is going to be 33.71. If we lose that, we'll come down to the bottom here, 33.31, 33.24, and then we have that 33.19. We come down here 33 flat. We have to watch that 100-day 33 flat also. All right, but upside, we got to go back at that 8-day 34.25 level. That's what we're going to be watching, and then we're going to be watching. Go to the left at 34.47. This is the key one, 34.51. We want to get back above that if we can. Today's high 34.66, 34.83, and then we have you go to the left here first. Okay, at the top of that topping tail, 35.09, and then 35.34 level. You crack that 35.50, 3600, but with this topping tail, can't see it right now. Just looks like it just wants to come lower. Now, you got 52. We're basically holding right on into the center. We have its moments, but then it wants to come right back to the center of that 50. So this is not overbought or oversold. The same way here, the green is over your red, but it's not overbought, oversold. But again, watch that 8-day on the top side. Okay, very, very key. Watch that 21-day right there on the downside, that 50-day, and then we have a possible retest down here all the way down at 3,300. Now, futures open up. You want to watch today's candle, that high, 34.66, 34.97. This is what we're trading against. We start losing it, then we head for the 21-day, the 50-day possible retest. If we can, say, even maintain it, then we can start looking for that top of that candle, today's high, top of that candle, 34.83, and then maybe a possible retest. Okay, silver, same thing, okay? Big to do about nothing. Came right on up here, but you notice how when we had this negative divergence. See, I always want to point out negative divergence. What happened? Sold down. Negative divergence. What happened? Sold down. But respect that 50-day. Look how nice that it held. Now, we got to respect this 8-day because it's holding. Even though it came below, we're holding it here so far on the closing basis. 37.74. Very, very critical. We lose that, you're going to go 37.32, and then we have your 50-day at 37.12. All right, now we lose that. We'll come to the bottom. Okay, you're looking at 36.76, 36.40, and then we have your retest down there at 36.28 level. Now, on the upside here, what we're going to be watching is the bottom of that candle, 37.93 level, and we'll watch the bottom there at 38.18, but this is going to be the key right there at that 38.24. You have to get back above that situation. Then we can go to today's high, 38.56, come to Friday's high, 38.87, and then we can start working yourself right on up, 39.72 level. We have, the bottom of that, sorry about that, that's 39.02, and then we have 39.52, 39.62, 39.91. Crack above it, 40, 42, 45. Right now, we got a little pinball action between the 8-day and the 21-day. So this is what you're trading until we lose that, and then we have a target and a target. We get above that 21-day, well, then we have a target, and we follow the candles up until we have your big target. Now, you can see how this is rolling over, but again, it just wants to equalize right at that 50 mark. You can see right around that area. The green is below red. It never crossed above to give that momentum, even though this had a nice, good run, but it was a run like on pretty much on bullshit. They're gonna tear off gold and silver. That makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil and at natural gas. Okay, here we have crude, here we have natural gas. Now remember, Putin is going to meet with T-Man in Alaska this week. It's pretty much like a feel-out meeting. They want to try to get this war in Ukraine stopped. That's been going on for, what, 2 to 3 years? And I think Russia thought they were going to go into Ukraine and just swallow them up and move on. And that didn't happen. They fought back. But now we're just kind of in limbo. You're just blowing people's up and blowing people's buildings. That makes not a whole lot of sense. So it's time to end that and move on and start in a rebuild process. So if they do that, Putin's going to want to start, dishing out his oil again. T-Man will say, no, you can start pumping oil again. Saudi Arabia's pumping oil. Remember, they're going to be adding another 541,000 barrels per day. All the volunteer cuts are off. So you're flooding the market here with oil unless we get some kind of a catalyst that takes this disruption, that takes the crude oil higher. It just looks like you're trading in a range to down, right? So we made this high here of 64.44. Friday's high, 64.58. So we have this inside day kind of a situation. Now, what we're watching, the key levels on the upside is going to be 64.93. That's your 100 SMA. Respect it because last time, very, very hard to get through. Once you get above, look at how nice that's supported, okay? Now, if you can get above it, 65.45. Above that, 68.28. And then we have your 50-day at 66.71, and then we have your 200-day, and then we have your retest up there at 70.51. But you're going to need a catalyst to get up there. Now, downside, you want to watch yesterday's low. Okay, 62.77, very, very key. If that's lost, we come right to the bottom, 62.50. What we have there, 62.17. We'll come to the top of that candle, 61.72. And then we have 61.06. 60.55, and then we retest at 59.74 level, which is, remember, all these numbers for crude oil, natural gas are posted right at the end of this video. So all you can do is write it down. That's all your support and resistance levels. Now, RSI, you're sitting at 42. That's not overbought or oversold. The green is fully red. But remember, API report will be out tomorrow, and the EI report will be on Wednesday. We're going to see if there's going to be any kind of a catalyst. But this 8-day that crossed over, 21-day that crossed over, that's going to be very, very strong resistance. Even if you can get through that 100-day, that 8-day is going to probably stop it cold. Okay? So just remember that. This is just a trade. I do UCO for the long, SCO for the short, working out very, very nicely. Now the gas, we're holding this level, okay? 2.89, very, very nice. We lose that level, this is your next target. It's going to be that 2.858. Okay, just that simple. Very, very easy. Now, if we start losing that bad boy, then we're going to come all the way down here. Okay, so you got 2.75. We have down there, you have 2.68 level, and then we can come down to the bottom of that candle. You got 2.59, 51, and then we just keep on falling all the way down, okay, down to 221, and then come down to your 187. This needs a catalyst to get it rolling again. All right. So we had this higher high situation. Looking very nice. But see, there's that topping tail again. Okay. Right here. There's that topping tail again. What happened? Boom. What happened? Boom. Okay. Now we get downtrending situation. High, lower high, lower high, lower high situation. 21-day, 50-day, 21-day. Everything just rolled right on over. Not good. So if this has any rally in it at all, 8-day 303 is going to be very, very key. Then we come top of that candle, 310. We have roughly 315, and then you're going to run right into that 21-day at 318. Above that, you got 326, 3.33, and then we run into that 50-day at 341, and then we come in there at 3.48, which is your 200-day and 100-day. Above that, we have that 3.62. Now, this has to get basically above this 3.62 to break this downtrend. So even if this rallies up to that 50-day or 100-day or 200-day, it don't mean nothing, okay? Because it's still downtrending. You have to get and close above this 362 in order for us to go higher. Just that simple. So just trade this range. Right now, you're watching at 289. That's going to be key, and we're watching that 8-day. Get above the 8-day, we hit the 21-day. Get above that, we can hit that 50-day, possibly 200-day. But right now, it needs a catalyst to take that bad boy higher. RSI, well, you're sitting here. 38, that's not overbought, oversold. Same way with this. This is nowhere near overbought, oversold. This could come way, way down and retest that 187 very, very easy. Okay, so just trade this. That's all I do. I don't hold natural gas. I just buy it long, short during the day. That's it. Okay, let's take a look here now at the indexes. Here we have the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ. Now, they were rolling pretty good this morning, but you notice we went right into that 21-day, and that was it. Okay, done. Now, you got to get above that 44,345. Then we can tap into that one, 44,498. Just venture it on up, 44,665, 44,739, 44,883, and then we roll up to that 45,16 level. Okay, but right now, that's not it. The 8-day crossed over, providing very, very strong resistance level. Same with the 21-day. Downside, we want to watch today's low, 43 on 965. We want to watch that, 43,799, and then we have the 50-day. Then we have this retest at 43,340, 200-day, 42,913, 100-day, 42,381. But watch this gap, okay? That's 42,794. Then watch that fill, 42,609. Gap, fill, right between the 200-day and the 100-day. Okay, so this has to get right back up. It just seems like it's running kind of a juice. We had this negative divergence going on, and it looks like it just might be playing out here finally. Now, we had an overbought situation. It's trying to rally back up, and it might, it might rally up here. We don't know. But anyway, you have to get above and close above that 64.27. If you can, you might be able to take it all the way to the 6,500 area, okay? But if we can't, we watch today's low, 63.74, Friday's low, 63.55, and then we're going to be watching that 8-day, the 21-day, okay? Very, very key. And then we can just follow the candles down, 63.01, 62.89. We have 62.71, and then we have your retest 62.02, and then we have that 50-day. Gap, fill, 200-day, 100-day. Okay, so let's just see how this all shakes out. A lot of times what happens when you have a chart like this, okay, and obviously I've been trading over 2 decades, actually 2.5 decades now. So as this rolls on up, a lot of times it wants to retest that situation. Right now we have this negative divergence. Even if you break out, this is still going to be negative divergence. So you got to be very, very careful on what you're doing here. All right, so put money in the pocket, just like I did the BITX. Okay, I made the video, and as I was making the video, I actually put the trade in on BITX, and I sold out a huge portion of that, my trading. Okay, money in the pocket. Okay, great day for trading. And NVIDIA, great scalping on the trading. Tesla, great trading, I think, but I'm out of Tesla. Tesla was a really, really good trade today. I took 8 points out of Tesla, and I'm done. Okay, I probably could have got a little bit more. I took my 8 points. Boom, I'm out. I'm going to wait and see what happens. Maybe turn around Tuesday. All right, NASDAQ, same thing here. Okay, now we are retesting. We put in a higher high, but look at here. See how we have a high, lower high, high, higher high. Negative divergence. Always pay attention. Always pay attention. Now, we have to go and close above this 21,464 level. Obviously, your next one is 21,549. And then you could rally right up. You could go all up to 22,000. But you just watch this negative divergence and see if it's going to play out. That's going to be the key. Now, you notice that it popped up, but so far it has to close above the 21,464. That's the key, is you have to close. Okay, so right now it's not there. All right, so what we're watching on the downside is you're going to be watching Friday's low, 21,284, and then we're going to watch this 8-day. This critical 21,128, and then that 21,014. And then we could come down to the bottom, that candle, which is red, that price channel at 24.92. And then we have 23.45. Remember, we have this gap in the fill, 200-day and 100-day. But again, this time frame, just be very, very careful. I know I've been saying this here for a while, but I'm just trying to instill it in your mind that use stop losses. Put money in your pocket. Don't worry about buying the bottom and selling the high. Scalp that middle and put that money in your pocket. That's the key. But just watch these negative divergences going on right here and then going on right here. That's going to be the key. Okay, now I'll be back here tomorrow morning and we're going to do it all over again. All right. Thanks for watching.